Hey, what's going on, everybody? JT here, Crypto for Change, C Will. This is episode 81 of the next block, and it looks like there's a bunch of excitement back in the crypto markets. Everything's pumping. Bitcoin's at above 35K last I checked. Algorand approaching 12 cents, I believe, last I checked. Solana having a really good past couple of days. Sentiment's really changing. So, how you guys feeling?
I'm feeling bullish, but still tentative on some
Hesitant.
and certain assets. Like there are some that I'm like, you know what? They look like they're ready to move a lot more. Chainlink is one of them. I think it's finally like, if you look at the chart, it looks like it's finally got out of that over a year long like sideways action, and it's finally above 12. If it can hold that 11 to 12 area that it's at now, I think that's bullish. I'm not selling it. Algorand looks bullish, right? As long as it can hold, I think above like 10.5 cents. I think that right there is the level that it already kind of retested and shooting up. So I think 14 cents is where I'm eyeing some resistance, and then above there maybe like 20 cents, 21 cents. Bitcoin obviously is taking a little breather. It's just under 35. I think it's like 34,000 right now. It had a pretty sharp drop, but it still looks bullish. Especially with the news and everything else that's going on. But yeah, everything, each one is kind of moving on its own right now, but everything does feel more bullish than it did, a couple months ago, or at least for
Yeah,
altcoins. Bitcoin's been looking
yes.
bullish.
I am feeling the same way. I'm hyped personally. This is the most price action maybe we've seen in a year, right? If we go look back about this time last year, Algorand Decipher, Algorand did the FIFA pump to about 40 cents or so, and then it crashed back down. It's been there ever since. So I have the hopiums here. I'm getting more excited. Bitcoin at 35,000 is always a good sign for me. So I'm feeling good, Joe.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you, JT?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with everything I've heard so far. What about everyone in the chat? Everyone in the live chat, let us know what you think. What are you holding? Are you selling anything? Are you buying anything? And yeah, we'll go from there. But I'm looking
Let
at the
me
Bitcoin
also in
chart.
the chat, let me know if I'm dumb for taking any profits already. I will, and I'll go ahead and let everybody know I took profits on Render. I have not sold Algorand. I still think Algo's got a nice pump ahead of it. I sold Render though, which I bought it at like $1.30. So I've doubled
Smart
from
man.
where I sold it.
There you go.
They had a big
That's a
news
good move.
today. I watched the news drop on Solana's breakpoint because they're moving from Ethereum to Solana. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I actually put out a tweet a couple days ago or last week that talked about Render making that move to Solana. And Daisy, if you do, actually reminded me and said, did you forget that they at once were going to possibly build on Algorand through Otoy or OTOY? And he posted that link, and I was like, holy crap, I actually forgot that Render was close to actually starting to work with Algorand. And it kind of made me think, Helium was also close to working with Algorand, but chose Solana. So, took some profit there. Maybe Solana and Render continue to pump, but let me know if did I sell too soon? Should I held it in kept it in my
You can
bags, or
never
am I smart?
regret making some money.
Right. And
Can't
it's
regret.
also because I also put out the same a tweet right after it said, if I were to repeat what I just did 9 more times, I'd be a millionaire. So if I can do that 9 more times, I'm golden.
That's always the trick right there. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, here's the news right here. As of November 2nd, Render Network completed its successful upgrade to Solana. Pretty interesting news, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, there has been a lot of those cases where companies say they're going to build an Algorand, then they move to Solana. And I think that's really just a large part to do with money and liquidity and things like things to that sort. Algorand still has a little bit of ways to go to become a little bit more attractive for companies to build on. It needs to grow its ecosystem. It's hard to,
Let's also
ask any company that's built in this ecosystem, has been around. It's hard to, it's hard to be profitable with a smaller ecosystem. So at the end of the day, they're all businesses. We can't take it personally. Like, these businesses want to make
Can't
money.
take it personal.
Exactly. Everyone
But
just wants to make some
let's
money.
put our
But
let's put
let's
our
hear the but.
tinfoil hats on for just a second and think. I know it's so exciting to see Solana, right? We've all kind of watched this, its saga, especially with how close it was with FTX, and I'm
Right.
pretty sure FTX and all the funds that they have, they still have a lot of Solana to dump, right? And so, is this a manipulated rise and excitement leading into this new Amsterdam Solana breakpoint and all the news that they got going on? And is FTX still going to haunt them because it just got back to the levels that it saw before the huge FTX news happened and it crashed, right, all the way down from like in the $40 range to the $8 range. So that was a pretty quick
I missed that
descent over
bottom.
a few months.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been a nice grab, but it's just now pumping over that. And do we think that this is is this going to sustain, or is Solana, going to get a, blast from the past with FTX still wanting to dump?
I think Solana might lead us into a bull market, right? Because this is one of those situations where you got the Raul Pauls, you got all the big supporters of this are still bullish. They have never not maintained their bullishness, even when it went down to $8. FTX, yes, you're right. They do have a lot more selling pressure, but as you said, with Helium, Render, some reason, right? I haven't used Solana in a while, so you tell me, you've been using it. How are you feeling with Solana?
I mean, it is fast, I will say. I mean, it's definitely, I actually saw someone, I forget who it was in the community, but they pretty much put all the transactions between Solana and Algorand just through a wallet, right? Not an exchange. And there
Yep.
was definitely still a lot more failed transactions or delayed transactions than you saw in stuff like Algorand. But it's like, you still can't dismiss that it does work. It's not been down in a while, and it has the hype. And that's the thing, right? You don't
Has
want
a
to really
track record
fight.
too.
Yeah, you don't want to fight the hype to an extent, but obviously I saw some people also taking profit at like $45, and like JT just had that chart up. I definitely think right there was a solid spot to take some profit if you had been buying Solana, anywhere really underneath $15-20. I think, you just doubled your money, if not more.
Yep.
Could it run, right? Could it have another high impulse up to that $60, that $80 mark and really start to FOMO with and run with Bitcoin? Yes. But we still have to see what is going to happen with this quote unquote alt season that we're starting to see right now. I mean, you have everything kind of pumping. You got Pepe, you got meme coins that are moving up, and then you also have things that are getting destroyed. Safe Moon was one of them we talked about kind of before the show, which that one is not really, just market related, this because it was a scam. But you really have to come back and you have to have a thesis, right, of what you're going to do. So if you had profit, or if you're in profit, consider shaving some off. If you're watching the charts and you were sitting on the side, be careful, right? Everything is hot right now.
And also not financial advice, because everyone here could be totally wrong. It's actually a high likelihood that everyone you listen to probably will be wrong in some manner or respect. But yeah, of course, the ethos of that is, there's nothing to be ashamed of taking profit if you have it, obviously. You never lose by taking profit. But another coin that's been pumping actually in the Algorand ecosystem, we didn't really talk about this too much, is Opulus, actually. So Opulus had a low of about 4.5 cents back here in mid-October, and it's cracking the 11-cent range. It's like just in between 10 cents and 11 cents currently. If you zoom out, obviously, it's had a hard time. And if I apply some drawings that I've added here a while ago, you can kind of see, if you zoom in, it's hitting the very top of this resistance line right here. So, big day for Opulus if it could break through that. But, things look pretty good all around. ASAs are pumping, altcoins are pumping. I mean, this could be the end of the pump, for now, and things could retreat and come back down. But overall, things are looking pretty good.
Where do you see the money coming from? Where is this new liquidity? Is it stable coins coming back into the market?
That's a good question, because I haven't checked the stable coins, so that's something to probably check. But overall, I mean, part of what I think happened is a lot of short covering. So some money came back in on the excitement for Bitcoin ETFs and things like that. A lot of shorts got destroyed, and people had to cover those shorts, and a little bit of short squeezing happened. But I'm not sure if new money is coming in yet. That's actually a really good question. While you go and say your thought, David, that you were just about to speak on, I'll look at the stable coins.
Yeah, I was looking at Tether. Market cap for it has fallen a little bit, and I think it's money that's been sitting on the sideline, money that's been slowly buying, right? Because we're still in I would say we are in the spring, right, of the possible bull market, right? I don't think we're going to get that massive, run up that maybe some people want to see. We could, but I do think that Bitcoin. I've kind of saw a couple people chart it from the past few months that like 42K might be the top, right, of this bear market rally that we've seen. I definitely could see that next impulse right up to that 42, maybe even 45,000 mark, before we start to get some sideways action into the halving and stuff, because you're still seeing, I think the main catalyst for this news and for the pump that we're seeing in crypto is the Fed pausing rates, right? So we've got the pause, which then that gets people wanting to be bullish. It kind of puts risk back on.
10-year treasury went under 5.
Exactly. You got the dollar starting to hitting its upper bounds. You got the treasury hitting its upper, so there's a lot of things that are kind of, all, culminating to get this pump that we're seeing. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's new money, right? I mean, I still think we're seeing it's people who have been in it, right? People who are trying to make money in the market and have been in crypto for, this past bear market and even before, but we're not getting the mainstream audiences yet. I don't think, when you see that happen and it is true new money, that's when you're going to see, massive days. I'm talking like across the board, things jumping 20, 30, 40%. And and everybody's trying to catch on.
Question for y'all co-hosts and the audience. Has a random family member hit you up about crypto yet? That's always a measure for me.
And it's true, right? If you're getting those random people wanting, and I'll say this, I talk to people on the beach all the time, and the first thing they ask me, just because they're on vacation, they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I tell them I work from home. I run a podcast, talks about blockchain crypto. I judge sentiment a lot of times off how people's responses are, because a lot of times you'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's a scam," and I'm immediately like, "Well, then the media's, the news is not really getting to these people." And there's other times they're like, "Oh man, I just bought some. I've just started buying some." And I'm like, all right, well, this might be might be onto something.
My friend hit me, Bitcoin hit 35K. So I did actually have one person, he's always in and out, but he was like, should I buy Bitcoin right now? And it kind of, got me excited because he ain't spoke about it in 6 months.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that normie gauge is definitely real. Definitely real.
And I still feel like the biggest, indicator that you can go look is the fear and greed index, right? I mean, where are we at in the fear and greed? Right now, we're definitely teetering more on the greed side as everything and a lot of things are pumping, but there's still, like I say, the pump's always out there. There's still the opportunity that it could go higher. You're probably not going to get as big of a pop on something like Bitcoin as, some of the altcoins that are primed and ready to run, but you still have the news of a ETF, right? There's still a lot of decisions to be made there. And if we get if that is approved anytime in 2023, I mean, honestly, you could see Bitcoin do something crazy like pump to new all-time highs. Now, do I think it would last? No, I think it would retrace pretty hard and come back down until the real money actually starts to come in, right? Even Mark Yesko kind of said that, you're going to, even if these big institutions, once it's approved, if they get 1% of their portfolios in, that's enough to get Bitcoin's price above 100K and to stay above that. But it's not all going to happen the day it gets approved, right? You're going to have a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. And that's what that's why I sold Render, right? It was the rumor was that, Render is going to be moving to Solana. They didn't know exactly when, and they didn't know how, if it was going to be an easy, process, hard process. And that was all the rumors of the past few months. It just happened, right? So now you have the sell the news and the price went down.
Our man over there making profits.
So I found something interesting when I decided to chart stablecoin USDT dominance, so Tether dominance versus Bitcoin dominance, and you can see a really, really interesting trend here. So right here, we've got Bitcoin in orange and Tether in blue, and when Bitcoin peaked in November 2021, that is when Tether bottomed. And we basically have the same thing here. When Tether peaked right here, that was a pretty good buying opportunity for Bitcoin. Same thing right here. When Tether peaked, pretty good buying opportunity. And Tether is moving down while Bitcoin's moving up. And as long as this trend continues and we see stablecoin dominance continue to drop while Bitcoin dominance and other altcoin dominance, like I could probably chart this with the rest of the crypto market too and see a similar trend. I think it's actually probably one of the best charts to look at is this comparison right here.
Yeah. So it looks like Bitcoin is trying to close that gap.
I think it's entirely likely that could happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Audience, what do you think about Bitcoin at 42K as a local high?
I mean, I think it's possible. Is Michael Saylor now in profits? I believe he's in profits now.
Yeah, I think so. Once it hit 30, I think he's always in profit.
He's sitting on a pretty healthy size bag, if we're being real. So you want to move on to a little bit of Algorand news, or should we look at some other charts while we're at it?
Let's go into Algorand news. It looked like a lot of people talking about Algorand right now in the comments.
And also take a look at that Algorand chart.
Yeah, let's do the Algorand chart real quick, and then we'll jump right into some Algorand news. So I'll pull that up real quick.
Says Saylor bought more Bitcoin. Probably. Actually, yeah, he did recently. Actually, yeah, he did. I think, yeah, he's gonna be the biggest winner out of this. Yeah. Seems
Yeah.
like it.
Yep. I mean, until he sells, and then we'll all be the biggest losers because he's got such a fat sack to sell.
Well, the way he be talking, he'll just borrow against it. So I don't know if he'll even sell it. It's more valuable than property in Miami, according to Michael
Yeah, I
Saylor.
suppose that's totally possible.
Property tax get crazy.
All right, so let's pull this up right here. So we've got Algorand finally coming out of this wedge. It's been in this wedge since November of 2021, which is pretty wild. If we throw on some moving averages, we've got some daily moving averages coming up right here. We've got the 200-day moving average at just over 12 cents. Algorand has very clearly gotten through its 50-day and 100-day moving averages pretty strongly, but it's yet to be seen if it'll break through its 200-day moving average or if it'll treat it as resistance. It does kind of look like Algorand's losing steam, so Algorand might top out around here while the moving average comes back down. So we could see a little bit of a correction, but honestly, as long as it starts to treat these moving averages below it, the 50-day and the 100-day moving averages, as support, unlike how it's been throughout the last year and a half where they've been basically resistance lines, if we can treat these as support and then eventually get above this 200-day moving average, I say we're off to the races. The last moving average I would want us to get above is this one right here, which is the 50-day moving average right here. I mean, 50-week moving average in green, which is at about 16 cents. And we've covered this on some of our technical analysis videos, but basically for all cryptos, the 50-week moving average basically acts as the bull market support band. So as long as we're above it, we're in a bull market. As long as we're below it, we're in a bear market, with a few exceptions. But this basically rings true for almost every single crypto. So
ascending triangle.
Well, we can honestly get rid of this. This is really just in the way right now. I'm just talking about the moving averages, and you can see this moving average in green right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll zoom in a little bit more. But this is the 50-week moving average, and as you can see, we got above it in July of 2020, and ever since we were above it, it was a bull market. Once we broke below it right here in January of 2022, we've been in a bear market ever since, and it's basically rings true for every single crypto. The 50-week moving average tends to act as the bull market support band or the resistance for the bear market. So the next big zones of resistance are that 200-day moving average at around 12 cents, then this 50-week moving average around 16 cents, and if we can get above both of those, I'd say it's safe to say Algorand's back in a bull market, but until we get above this 50-week moving average, I'm hesitant to say that.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting closer though. Definitely,
it is. I mean,
where was that last spike at on the left side? That wick down, the farthest wick to your left.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah. What was that, about 8 cents or something?
Yeah, this wick down was about just about 9 cents. So we actually broke below it, historical lows back here, not by much, but we broke this low back in August. So we've got this wick down here to 8 cents in August.
But that past wick back there in 2020, that was COVID, right? So almost everything had a crazy
it was COVID,
wick down. And that was the recovery since.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
It's looking a lot better than it was last week. I'll say that.
I mean, this is the biggest weekly green candle. I know it's small so far relative to the rest of the chart, but it's the biggest green weekly candle we've seen since this one back in October of last year. Granted, that was followed by
FIFA. That was FIFA news. Yeah,
that was followed by more bear market, but so far this is the best weekly green candle we've had in a year. So can't complain too much.
Yeah, that area where it kind of traded sideways and up a little bit from like the 30 cents to upwards of almost 50 cents. That's right when it got to FIFA. And then I think the letdown was, Algorand wasn't really doing much at FIFA, and as it was hoped. And then ever since then, it's been down to the right. But, there are some new things happening in the Algorand ecosystem, right? We got the rebrand that has been talked about. We're already seeing tidbits of that, right? You can pull up Algorand's new website. They've updated their website. It's now Algorand Technologies. So, even on Twitter, right, doesn't say Algorand Inc, it says Algorand Technologies, and they're looking to be more of a software as a service, right, to really try to sell and market to maybe some of these bigger enterprises. We've seen things like the Bank of Italy, and obviously there's still things like FIFA, whatnot. But what are your all's thoughts there?
I think right there it says, JT, scroll down a little bit. Let us unlock the power of Algorand for you. So how I'm seeing this is definitely, like we said, software as a service, very smart move where they're building products and services, and then they're going to take them to pre-existing businesses and show them and have them integrated. I was reading more, side chains is another thing, or private chains, so there's always that conversation of, let's say, like if Amazon or Apple would want to use this type of technology, they can't have their supply chain on the public mainnet. So this is where Algorand software as a service will come in and make them a permission chain. This is all potential hypotheticals, but this is how I'm seeing how a business could use it. And then if they're building, any DeFi tools that businesses want to use, Algorand can handle that. That's how I see it. And I think it's a huge improvement for what Link was doing before, which I'm not even sure what they were doing.
Yeah, and go ahead, JT.
Yeah, I was just going to add that I don't think they're going to become a permission chain, but the verbiage here definitely makes a mention of helping people launch their own permission chain, which are those side chains that were, probably questioned and criticized earlier, but really none of them have come to fruition yet. As far as we know, there are still no side chains, but those are probably in the works. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I think the rebranding is totally necessary. We talked about it on our show about 2 days before they even announced a rebrand, which was kind of perfect timing. But yeah, I think so far I'm in support. It's actually kind of cool to see this how we work thing. They've got phase one, they got a consultation and plan design phase. They've got the build and deploy phase, the platform maintenance phase, and the novel innovations phase. Seems like basically a nice 4-step phase to really help any project build on Algorand, whether it's on the public side or helping them spin up those private chains that you mentioned.
Yeah, and even then, we still have, we had Stacy on a few weeks ago. If you're in the chat and you hadn't seen that interview, go back and check that one. But she talked to, we had the buildable hackathon, right, still going on. I think it's getting close to closing down for signups and things, but there's still hopefully a lot of really cool things. In her own words, it was, we want to get more things like Folks Finance, more things like, I would say, Messina,
Like
some
Gora,
of the tiny
they were
names,
they
Gora,
came out of one of those
exactly.
hackathons.
Yeah, they want to see
Yes.
bigger utilities and bigger real world use cases coming out of these hackathons, and I think that's that is huge, and it needs to we need to get some of those things, because right now even you look at Folks Finance, right, they're integrating with Chainlink and they're having a big space. I think it's either today or tomorrow, like things like that, getting Algorand's name mixed in with bigger names. I mean, just think of Render, right? What's made Render start to make its big move up?
Solana.
It's on the heels of Solana, and Solana's running hot. So Algorand needs to capture some of these big builders, right? And that's what I think the rebrand is to do. And I think that's what John Woods is doing, is it's focusing on the builders in the space and attracting builders, right? And I think that is key, and they need to do that. I think that's why they're integrating Python, making it easier for the programming language and all that stuff. But I'll be really excited to see, what kind of projects can come out of these hackathons. Because like you said, Goracle, a big one, someone that's really making waves in Algorand and beyond. Folks Finance, Messina, obviously with their new liquid staking, and that Algorand. You just had Ed on Sunday. There's tons of things that are coming, but we need more, right? Algorand needs more hype, and it needs to get to. I think it needs to get some of this hype from these projects in the space that are doing their own thing. Like, I love what Render's doing. Obviously, the token might, I don't know if it's a great time to buy right now or not, but it's cool to have those projects and what they're doing come join your team in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, you mentioned Algorand, and so did somebody in the comments. So shout out to them. We've got Mocha Nerd mentioning the Algorand Bear Vault rewards have been printing. They're okay with this price level so they can stack more algo, but also ready to be bullish, as are, I think, everybody else in the crowd. We definitely would appreciate more time to stack, but also we've had nothing but time for the last year and a half. So, we're totally okay with it being pretty bullish as well. Do we want to move on to a little bit of other ecosystem news?
Yeah, I want to answer Ryan McDonald's because I was researching that a little bit. So he said, why did chain Coinbase choose Ireland? Well, a lot of the European countries and Ireland in particular have better laws and they have more infrastructure set up with their government than it does in the US. So that's from my understanding why Brian Armstrong went out there. That was it.
I muted myself. So, yeah, honestly, I wasn't even aware they did that. When did they move to Ireland? And it looks like CryptoForChange's camera is down. So hopefully we'll bring him back up in a little bit. But do you know when they moved to Ireland?
I feel like it was recent, or because I know he was going out there a lot recently. I know London, Ireland were the places he was hunting. I have to double back because it's been a few weeks since I read it, but I do remember it's because of the laws and the structuring of the laws. We can probably find it, but I think it's a great idea. It's like when you're in this space, you got to do what you have to do to survive. And if you even look at Coinbase as a company, I used Coinbase actually yesterday, and how many fees they took from me. I'm thinking they're still going to survive because they're bringing in revenue. It's just the stock ain't looking good. But I think a lot of that is because of the overall market and sentiment. So Ireland's a great idea. They have a lot of
What's
startups. John Wood's out there too.
I mean, their stock is I mean, it's not looking good from when they IPO'd, but
Oh,
it's not
not IPO.
looking I mean, the IPO was probably overvalued anyway, but since they bottomed, I mean, it's not
Strong
been too
recovery.
bad.
So
So we've had what? We bottomed around $31 and we're currently at 78. That's
that's a
150%
double. Yeah.
return for a stock. I mean, that's basically crypto movements right there. I mean,
Yeah.
granted,
Yeah.
it is powered by the movements in crypto, but yeah. So let's jump on. We've got a little bit of news from Exa Market that you shared with me
Uh-huh.
earlier. So
Yeah.
Exa Market, they just launched an Algorand NFT rewards program where there's a total of 173,500 algo to be shared with both collectors and creators. 70% allocated to collectors and 30% of that allocated to creators, as well as an additional 2,500 algo given away to one lucky winner in the replies. So there's a little bit more to this. How to participate, list, buy, and sell on Exa Market NFTs from the whitelisted collections. There's more about that in this link right here, as well as in this thread. So definitely go check out Exa_market on Twitter, learn more about this rewards program. There's a lot of algo to go around. Each week the top 25 collectors and the top 10 creators will be rewarded from the following address: algorewards.examarket.algo. So you can track their shout out NFD, that you can track their non-fungible domain right there. Yeah, this is actually a really, really, really good program to create more excitement in the NFT ecosystem more broadly, as well as for Exa Market's fantastic exchange.
Yeah, so they got I think Shuffle, X NFT, I believe Rand Gallery are all participating. X is doing
That's
something
great.
real particular here, so definitely tap in. And then there's a lot of events going on too in terms of the Algorand, Argentina, something else, and I think in like Portugal that Algorand Foundation with their partners out there are tapping into. So that whole South American or Argentina market mixed with India, I still see a lot of great developments happening. Needs,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
yeah.
one of the things. I mean, Algorand doesn't have the hype, but there's a lot working behind the scenes. And I think long term, it won't really need that hype. Short term, it probably could benefit from the hype, but long term, as long as the ecosystem continues to build out and improve, it's going to be like that snowball that, eventually tumbles into this giant, huge ball that it is basically taking out everything in its path. It starts slow, but eventually, that snow accumulates. But we've got a
Can
little
you
bit
pull
more
up that?
news.
If you can you pull up the Apple chart? We don't have to, but I always
Yeah, yeah, let's
envision
do
it.
it.
And this is me being a speculator, so don't take this serious. But Apple also had this long period of just consolidating for years on years
Oh,
before we
yeah.
really realized that cell phones are the thing, right? Remember flip
I mean,
phones,
same
Apple
with
was still
Amazon.
consolidating. Hmm.
I mean, same with Amazon, same with a lot of the market in general back then. There was a point in time where the entire stock market in the United States peaked and went a good 13, 14 years
Hmm.
before it ever broke those prices again. So, it's one of those things where you can't really judge the long-term success on something, even on like a decade's worth of price action.
Facts. And then with blockchain in particular, what we 15 years in or something like that. So it's still a young industry that's emerging, but it's impressive clearly.
Wow, this
Yeah, I
Apple
think it was.
stock is
I know the
insane. It's just like
greatest
up
stock
and
of all time.
it's just up and to the right.
Can't but find a bottom.
Right.
Yeah,
How
they
far
split a
does this
few
go?
times too. I think to 90 something. It was real. Yeah, even here, just from
Yeah,
2002 and under.
pretty sideways. I mean, the moving average was pretty much around 34 cents to like 50 cents,
And '03 is the
basically from the
iPad,
late
I believe,
basically from the
or
late
iPod.
80s to the mid 90s. It was
Mhm.
pretty sideways, honestly.
And then the iPod dropped, and it was never, turned back after that.
Yeah, there was no turning back after that. That's
Mm,
so crazy, honestly.
it's amazing.
Well, we've got a little bit more news from the Algorand ecosystem. We're going to share a little bit of news about Fractal Monsters. But before we do, let's do a quick word from our sponsors. We've got some fantastic sponsors on the show, including non-fungible domains, Exa Market, Algo Foundry, and Goracle. And you'll hear a little bit more about them from right now. All right, looks like we are back, and it looks like we've got Crypto4Change back on the show as well. So definitely, I don't know what you missed, but we were going to lead into the Fractal Monsters news. I think that's probably a good way to transition. So I'm going to pull that up as we speak right now. But we've got Fractal Monsters announcing, well, Fracctal Labs Inc., the company behind Fractal Monsters, securing an investment from Algorand Ventures. So this is some pretty big news.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more and make it bigger. It's not necessarily letting me, so I'll just read it. Fractal Labs Inc. secures investment from Algorand Ventures as of October 31st. It says, "We are thrilled to announce a major milestone in the journey of Fractal Labs and Fractal Monsters. We have recently secured an investment from Algorand Ventures, and this partnership is set to take our beloved game to new heights. We have always been committed to creating an immersive and thrilling gaming experience, and this investment from Algorand Ventures is a testament to our vision. We are excited to use this funding to make our game even bigger and better. We will allocate this investment strategically to key milestones in our game development journey. Our top priorities include the creation of an immersive online player versus player mode, as well as the development of a dedicated Steam version of the game. Additionally, we are committed to enhancing the multiplayer experience by introducing cooperative online dungeons by online dungeons, adding a new dimension to the gameplay that encourages collaboration and teamwork among players. So that's kind of cool. More enhancements to the game and even new parts of the game coming out. And furthermore, we have ambitious plans to extend the reach of Fractal Monsters brand beyond the digital realm. So maybe some physical games, physical merch, all sorts of physical things as well coming from Fractal Labs in the future. And then there's a little bit of a mention about their commitment to us, which is, of course, a very nice read as well. But definitely head on over to Fractal Labs on Twitter to read more about this development. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, one, I think it's great because it's a long run. It's one of the first games I would say that was built on Algorand, right? And it's cool to finally see a tweet come out that they're not shutting down, but that they actually got the investment on Algorand needed and are going to keep building. I've played this game ever since it started. They have done so many updates, even the newest one, or some of the newest ones being, almost like a Smash Brothers type brawl. And right there, you can kind of see a little bit of it. But soon it's going to be PvP instead of just player versus environment. So I think that's going to add a whole new dynamic to their game. One, we got to get James back on the show to talk about this and what they're going to be building. Maybe we can even sneak him in next week. I don't think we have any guests on, so if you're watching Dev Fracas, we're coming for you. But I love the game. I love the team, and I love that it's the ethos of like something started from the bottom and it's still growing, still building through one of literally the worst bear markets of crypto. And I think, and the reason why I think they're still here is because they've done so many things right, as far as, securing their initial investment, being more private, using the money and the allocation of their funds probably to the best of their ability, and not creating some scammy token to push people away, only creating, I would say hype and actual interest for their product, but not overselling it, right? Not trying to say that they're going to give you the moon and then they can't even launch, right? They literally tell you every single time what they're going to do. So for me, super excited for their team and super excited for the project to continue. I know they got plans to unveil new monsters and stuff and down the line, but excited to see where they can actually go in a bull market, right? Especially for Algorand as the play to earn or just Web3 gaming takes a whole new twist, obviously, in the next bull run.
Yeah, I agree with that. Very smart moves. They have a small team that has been committed, and they got passion, purpose, plus the right positioning. And then they did take their time, and I think that is part of what I've seen, a part of their success. And they're just making it happen. So big shout out to them. And Algorand switching into more of an investment vehicle. Again, I don't know who fully did it. Maybe it was Stacy, maybe it wasn't, but shout out to whoever idea that was, to not necessarily be a mentor, but be an investor, which makes you have to put more accountability on where you send your money. And so I think that these guys are really accountable, and the game looks dope.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think it's smart because Algorand's actually investing in the things that actually contribute to network activity. I mean, up until a few months ago, Fractal Tamers was #1 in daily transactions for a good amount of time. Like in the midst of the bear market, this game is the thing that was pushing Algorand transactions.
And Pepe.
Well, yeah, it was, even during Pepe, right? I mean, but you were seeing people play because not only, it's not a game where you're constantly signing transactions, but as you're playing, you're earning, they were giving away Pepe, they were giving away DeFi. I think most recently they've been giving, and algo rewards, obviously, but, they've been working that into where every 3 seconds, players of that game are being sent, Akita, different various ASAs on the Algorand. So every single time that's done, that's activity on chain. And so super bullish on them because they have done literally everything they said they're going to do and more. And yes, they deserve that grant and they deserve to keep building because they're doing great in the space already.
I mean, it seems like it's even a bit more than a grant. It's an outright investment, which I agree with C. Will. This is definitely the move that they should continue to make. I think Algorand Ventures was probably one of the best things that they created, and if they continue to invest in projects that have been, doing the ecosystem well or will do the ecosystem well in the future, like some great new project that's about to launch that they might invest in, whatever. I think the Algorand Ventures will be, a really great set of investments for the ecosystem. And I think it's really funny too, because we had what's his face, Christian Ager Hansen, on many months ago, and he basically started or said he was going to start a venture thing that was like Algo Ventures or something like that. And then obviously that didn't come to fruition, and then right after Algorand basically, like that's actually a good idea. We're going to launch our own version of that and run wild, and we're seeing some of the fruits of that take hold right now. During the break, we had one person that I believe Sewell replied to in the comments, but I'm sure he's not the only one with the question. He said, have we heard more about the rebranding? We did talk about that at the beginning of the show. Once this is done in 10, 20 minutes, however long, just go back and watch the beginning. We touched on it a little bit. Algorand Inc. has a new website. Algorand Technologies is basically the rebrand. Not sure what will come out of the Algorand Foundation in relation to the rebrand. That's still kind of a wait and see. But so far, Algorand Inc. is rebranding to more of a software as a service, technology based company, which I think is definitely the way to go. Do we have anything to add about Algorand ecosystem? Any other
Well,
news?
I was just going to say, I don't know if we've actually seen the response or the follow up to Daniel Oon, which obviously, follow him at EAU Dune. He's the head of DeFi at Algorand Foundation, and he tweeted 22 hours ago, soon. I was just going back on his Twitter to see if anything, if has anything dropped. Since that tweet. I don't really think it has. So there's obviously still some big, I don't know. I didn't know if it was like the whole Chainlink and folks finance thing, but it'll be interesting to see maybe what's still cooking there. Because that Algorand's trying to capitalize on this bullish movement, right? I mean, this is the first breath of fresh air I feel like the Algorand price action has had in a while. And so I feel like you have to try to lay out as much as you can. So I'd be interested to see, what that tweet was leading into, and if we're going to find that out today, tomorrow, or maybe into the weekend. What are your all's thoughts there, or anything else that you guys are seeing?
I think that rumor is they might open up a branch in Italy, right? Get out of the U.S. or entirely and go harder overseas. This is just me speculating and seeing some things.
Well, I know the Algorand Labs or the Ventures thing, right? Isn't it already
I think so.
Isn't it already LLC'd, or like the home base or whatever is in Italy?
True, but they're still like sort of headquartered in Boston, which is interesting.
So no, not Algorand Inc. I'm talking about the
foundation.
The foundation. Okay. Yeah.
I thought I saw that. I could be wrong, but I feel like I saw that something moved over and started trying to branch out. But yeah, the foundation has always though been out of the U.S., right? It's been in Singapore, from what I know. Yep. So, interesting though. But did you guys, while I was gone, did you guys talk about any of the other big stuff outside of Algorand, like XRP or?
No.
We haven't gotten to the outside of the ecosystem stuff, so we can move on to XRP right now. So there's actually some pretty decent sized news coming out of the Ripple XRP community that we can share with all of you. So Ripple announced that the Dubai Financial Services Authority approved XRP under its virtual assets regime, allowing licensed firms in the Dubai International Financial Center to incorporate XRP into virtual asset services. Didn't Algorand have something similar? I don't know about Dubai, but didn't they have something similar where they were like Sharia compliant? And
we got the Vera license. It was the Vera license. But it is different. I think this is going to be a little bit bigger deal, and obviously still goes back to the whole idea that XRP, Dubai is going to be a very big playground, I think, for crypto innovation, and so XRP obviously having its getting these steps done now is only going to be more bullish for when the bull market does come and it does start to take off, and it's already got all the groundwork and the foundation laid to be built and to be used in some of these big hubs for where crypto is going.
Yeah, Dubai is definitely coming for the #1 spot right now. It's a currency or something out there every single week, and and then like Saudi Arabia is right around the corner. Seemed like they have unlimited amounts of money.
I mean, yeah, they're still building that mirror city.
Yeah,
They might kind of makes you wonder, out the ground. Right. It kind of makes you wonder if that's going to be a failed thing, kind of like how in Dubai, remember how they were going to have the islands of the world or whatever, where it was they were literally. I didn't think it actually.
I went out there and seen one.
Well, but they meant they were going to have like every continent was
hotels.
Yeah,
I don't know about the continents, but they did it. We seen them when I went out there when you hang out. It was out there.
Okay, I didn't think it was actually complete, but it does make me wonder if this is too big of an undertaking, or if this is going to be something super cool that does actually get built, because the images and the ideas behind it all look dope as hell.
Yeah, it does. Like Yeah, I'm impressed with what they got going. But again, back to the US, like if they listening right now, change the laws. We need this development here. I need a
They're
Bitcoin
not
city.
they're not changing
Yeah,
anything.
for
I can tell
some
you that.
reason, if for some reason Elizabeth Warren is watching this show, we have some
He
ideas.
might be. Oh,
But
last thing, let me answer this question down here from Pity Huff. Did y'all talk about the CMO leaving? No. So real quick, the Algorand CEO left. She put a tweet up that shortly got deleted. I don't know where she
well,
went to Nike. I don't know where she went, but she said she's going back into the other world. So shout out to her for, I guess, her efforts. And then talking about Para shift to mobile. No, we didn't, but yeah, they're shutting down, and their mobile platform is going to be the main platform, and the website will be a read only. And I think
which
DeFi
honestly,
is coming in to take that part over anyway.
yeah, and honestly, I think Para needs to focus on their mobile app because
I think so too.
it's been lacking in certain spots, and I think they need to get back to just doing what they do best, which is the mobile experience, and stop. I think they tried to do the whole website or the browser extension, all that stuff when my
My
algo got
algo.
hacked, and we lost that, and so they tried taking that market share, but I just don't think they have the team size to be able to commit to actually making both of those work the best. And going back, I actually did just see, the Algorand Foundation does have a new CMO already. So this one was a lot quicker with it seems like they had it, already ready and planned to go. But if you're not following her already, you can follow Christine Mohan or
No,
Mohan.
she's an ecosystem success.
Oh, I thought she was the new CMO.
Nah, that's a
Okay.
misrepresentation.
Well, then never mind. We do not have a new CMO. I was wondering because I was seeing Algo Beluga's tweets saying that his
They saying
videos that
it's
he's been
him.
doing. Yeah.
Shout
I
out
mean,
to Beluga though.
I will say, ever since he started making those videos, Algorand's price action has gone up. So maybe the Algorand Foundation should interview him and give him a stick at the job.
Is that the key? Just like more shirtless videos?
I mean, I will say, do y'all follow
Maybe.
Gabriel Haynes from ETH, the guy who he's
hilarious.
yeah, dude's always shirtless doing crazy shit. I mean, hey, it gets attention. I mean, that's the thing. At some point, Algorand has got to have its, community people got to step up, or something has to happen where we're grabbing attention from the everyday user and the everyday person in crypto. Because right
I'll be
now
waiting
it's
for
like,
your next shirtless short.
yeah. I mean, hey, I do have the beach. I could do some stuff. I just don't know if people want to see me shirtless.
Silly.
It's for the
I'm
cause,
good.
man.
Yeah.
As long as the price go up, I'm willing to risk it.
Right.
Oh man, this is funny. Anyone in the comments have any additional news they want us to cover before we get into the end phase of today's live show? And I just want to say as well, we appreciate everyone. This has been actually a really great show, really big, lively show in the chats. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not already subscribed, definitely subscribe to our YouTube page. I know there's some people watching on Twitter right now just based out of convenience, but definitely come on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment underneath it. Help us grow this channel and continue to spread the good word of Algorand, get some more educational content out there and the like.
Yeah, one other, I would say this, any other cryptos you guys are watching, because there are a few that I'm still watching out there. One of them that I've still not taken profits on that I think is looking bullish and could be still making a move higher soon is Monero. And I feel like it's also it's a pretty safe option, honestly, as far as like if you're going to buy one and you don't want to risk going down 40, 60, 80%, like dude's pretty much, or that coin has pretty much been a stable coin for the past like year and a half, kind of like Chainlink, just bouncing between like 130 to 150 in that range, but it just popped up to like 170. And honestly, if it can hold that area and bounce off of that, I think it's a pretty quick move up to maybe 190, 200 before.
Where do we get
honestly,
Monero?
it's
You
tough.
can get it on
So
Kraken.
yeah,
That's probably the best. Yeah, the best
Kraken
place
for
to
you
get it in the
is
US.
probably the easiest. I
Okay.
still get it just using Exodus Wallet. You can actually swap for Monero. So if you have, Bitcoin or Ethereum or other cryptos, you can actually swap for it there. But yeah, there's not many exchanges, and it's been delisted from certain other ones, which honestly, I think that just sticks more to the ethos of Monero, that it's doing what it should, which is, being a privacy coin. But also because it's not on so many major exchanges, I do think the manipulation it's easier. Yeah, it's less manipulated because it's it actually is a utility coin. But that one is one that I've still got my eyes on, and obviously I'm still holding some. What about you guys? Anything else out there that you guys are watching that you see some potential in?
I'm always into the Cosmos ecosystem, so
Damn,
they're
Cosmos
coming
got hit
back
bad.
alive.
It got
Cosmos
hit
got
bad.
hit, but not worse than Algorand,
No,
because Cosmos low, relative low, had been about $4 to $5. It's about 8 now, and the
yeah,
high was in 45. So that's not too bad. But their ecosystem is waking back up. I know Avalanche is now joining the IBCs. They're becoming stronger and stronger. So I'm liking Cosmos still, to be honest. You can earn an
yeah,
easy
and
yield
honestly,
on it too.
right now, I mean, yeah, it does pay like 20%. I think if I
Yeah,
think I
and
have
it's been
Coinbase
solid.
One. Yeah, so it
Pays
definitely
10%
does.
at least.
It could be at a spot right now, similar to, I would say, Algo. There are a
Mhm.
lot of coins that have not had that run that some other ones have already had that I think definitely could make a run to end out the year, maybe a Santa Claus type rally.
Yeah, I think so. And just like I said, I've been really into that ecosystem. It's smooth, it's easy to use, and it's always expanding. And not to go too deep, but they got the interchain security and all these things that have been great developments. Osmosis is the biggest DEX, damn near outside of all other blockchains as a
Mhm.
DEX. It has the most volume and action. It's one of the higher performance, and they're not connected to a centralized exchange. So I like that.
Yeah, I know. And it also, that's something else that I've been doing this bear market is going in and finding the top dexes on protocols that I think could pop in the next bull market and actually, getting a little bit of that. I'm actually be interested to see once Tiny Man actually launches their token for Algorand, because I think that could
Mm.
be something possibly. Don't know if it'll end up like a bank type thing for AlgoFi. Hopefully not. But two of them that I've seen that actually, shout out to Kimchi. I follow him on Twitter, and he kind of
Shout out to Kimchi.
yeah, he brought me my attention to Base, which obviously is Coinbase's layer 2 on Ethereum. Their top leading DEX is Aerodrome, and then on
Mm.
Optimism, which these two kind of mirror the same strategy, is Velodrome. So those are two, Velo and Aero, that I've been, and this is a very small percentage of my portfolio, obviously not financial advice, but I
No
definitely
financial
think
advice.
that, yeah, you're going to see a lot of these DEXs and a lot of these things that have never seen a bull market, right? They are like, and especially you already know that like Coinbase is not going to flop. Like, I mean, at least I don't believe so, right? That's my own thesis there, that I think it's almost too big in the space and it's got too many backers to really fail. And so why
Mhm.
not have a little bit of exposure to some of the leading things that are already being built in a bear market on a big name like Coinbase or Base? Obviously, it's layer
Mhm.
2, but I see that as something. And obviously, you still have the whole Ethereum layer 2s. What's going to play out there, and that's where I'm making a bet on one of those.
Yeah. I still like Ethereum. I haven't used it in a long time, but I still hold Ethereum, and it's been growing. So
Yeah.
Ethereum, Bitcoin is is necessary. I still believe.
Yeah, you can't throw shade on the top dogs for too long. I mean, I do agree that there's a lot of cooler technology out there, but Ethereum was the one that got me into the space. I heard about Bitcoin 2013,
Also
2014,
Ethereum for
but
me.
was just like, that's cool and all. Didn't really understand it, but once I learned about Ethereum in 2017 and smart contracts, I was like, this makes so much more sense now. So it is what pulled me in. It will be likely a top dog for quite some time. So yeah, absolutely. I'm not really looking at too much for cryptos personally. Algo, definitely watching Opulus. Outside of the main ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm not really dabbling in too much personally. But people let us know out there what we should be looking at, and make
Mhm.
actual suggestions, please. I don't want a bunch
Like
of
Solana.
meme coin suggestions, but if
Solana. It's
there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Solana.
Solana for sure.
In the
If
divide,
there's
obviously, seeing that.
Yeah.
But if
I
there's
still
anything
got
else out there, because we talk about Solana on the show plenty, but if there's anything else out there that we don't really talk about, or maybe there's tens of thousands of cryptos out there.
yeah.
So if there's anything really interesting out there, definitely give us a little bit of a heads up. But everyone, this has been, in my opinion, fantastic. I think these
Yes.
shows where it's just us three are a lot of fun. Of course, we're going to have some guests on in the future as well. But we're going to try to do more of these, shows with just us, maybe once a month, and recap the previous shows with our guests, or talk about news or price action or whatever it might be. So who do we have coming up? We've got
We
Jerry
got
Chu coming up on the 30th. We've got John Allen Woods and Gary
and Gary
Maloof
Maloof on the same episode. So that'll be the
coming.
CTO from both the Inc. and the Foundation.
That's going to be a good one. What date is that? That's 2 Thursdays
That's
from
the
now?
16th, I believe, November 16th.
Perfect. So
set
2 Thursdays
those
from now, we're going to
reminders.
try to get, I think we said we're going to try to get Dev Frackus on for next week's show because we don't have that spot filled. Everybody like, subscribe, share this video with a friend. Come back once it's done on the live show and hit us up in the comments down below to boost those comments as well. Check out the video description to support all of our great sponsors. And everyone, hopefully we'll catch you in the next video.
See you, everybody.
Peace.